Hello, Judges. So this is null pay. So null pay is a payment privacy first payment protocol that we have built on the Aleo blockchain with the integration of the zero knowledge proofs. So null pay is a decentralized invoice and a payment system that uses the Aleo zero knowledge cryptography to enable private and verifiable transactions. The merchant can create an invoice without revealing any sensitive information to the blockchain, and also the payer can pay the amount of the invoice without revealing anything on the public blockchain. So we have deployed the contract on the testnet as well. So here you can see all the contract is deployed. So let me just take you to the platform. So in the first page of the platform is our explorer page. So we have built this page to give you and users a better idea of how the basically the stats of the this platform is. So here you can see total number of invoices generated is 20, the pending invoices is 8, settled 12, then the active merchants is 6, and here you can see all the stats of how many invoices are created per day. Here is the basically task last 10 days of basically stats, and here you can see all the recent transactions that have been made. So here you can see that this invoice was made, and this is the creation, basically the transaction ID that you can also verify on the testnet. So as you can see that here no sensitive information is getting revealed. And if I just go to a settle invoice, so this, you can see this is a settle invoice, and you can see the creation transaction as well as the payment transaction. So this is the basically the transaction ID of the payment that the user have basically made, and also you can verify this on the basically the testnet on chain as well. So it is going to basically make a request to the on chain mapping and then give you the response. Also, we have implemented a search feature. So if you just copy this hash and click here, you can see the detail of the basically the invoice here also, like the settled and the recent transaction and payment transaction links as well. So I will just go and create a invoice. So this is the create invoice page which the merchant can use to create an invoice completely basically privately. So I will just connect my wallet. So we recommend using the Shield wallet for this platform. So I will just go ahead and click confirm. And here you can see that I have two invoices options that I can make. So first is the standard invoice. So standard invoice is basically a single payment only. So the invoice closes after the user makes a payment. If you want your basically the invoice to have multiple payments from the multiple users, then you can basically select the multi-pay. So I will just show you the standard invoice. So I will just enter the amount that I want in the credits, and I will just enter a memo like payment from Ashish, I can say. I will just create on the create invoice link, and it will just ask me to basically create invoice function on this program that we have deployed. So I will just execute this transaction. Now the transaction is broadcasted, and it will just poll for the status. So we will wait for this. As you can see that the invoice has successfully been created. So here's the payment link that you can share with the user as well, and here's the hash, and here's the salt. So salt is basically a unique identifier to every invoice. So we have added the salt because we wanted to have more on-chain randomness, so that any other person will not be able to guess the invoice hash and make the payments, or basically play with the system. So this is the salt which is kept secret between only the user and the merchant who has created the invoice. So I will just copy this, and I will just show you how we can basically avail this, make the payment also. So if we go to the profile section, you can see the merchant dashboard, in which there is the total settled value of like how much credits has been transferred to the merchant via the invoices. Is the number of total invoices and the active campaigns. You can see that in the profile page you can see that the invoice that I just created. So you can just copy the link. So here's I've copied the link. I will just paste it again. So I will just click enter, and it will verify. So you can see it is verified. So before coming to this page, it will verify if the salt is actually exists. So for suppose instance, I just change the salt, and it will just tell me that okay, the invoice is not found, or a invalid salt. So I will just click the correct link, and now you can see that the invoice has been verified, and now I can just pay one credit. So it will just check for the suitable record. So I have already have the record, and it will just basically give the record at the input to the pay invoice, and I will just execute this transaction. So now the transaction is broadcasted. So this is the temporary shield transaction ID that we are getting. So we are just polling for the actual confirmation and getting the final transaction ID. So we will wait for this. Okay, okay, so now the transaction has been successful, and here is your receipt secret. So in case the merchant asks you to basically give him the ZK proof or basically a proof that you have basically made the transaction, so you can just give this receipt to the merchant, and he can just verify this on chain if you are the actually person who has basically settled the transaction. And now here in the view transaction, you can also see the transaction ID that you have created. This is the pay invoice, etc., etc. And nothing is getting revealed. No address, no basically the balance of the user is getting revealed on chain. So if I just go to the Explorer page, you can see on the recent transaction. If I just show you on the profile, so this was our transaction. I will just click here. I'll just search it, and now you can see that the transaction is successful, and you will see the creation ID and the payment ID as well. So here's the profile page that I've shown you. You can also basically do this same with the multi-pay. You can just basically create an amount that you want the users to pay to you, and here you can just create a multi-pay link. So it is just exactly the same process as the basically a standard invoice. The only difference is that the many user will be able to pay you, and in case that you are now satisfied that all the user have settled the payment, you can just come to your profile section and you can settle this, and now this invoice will be null and void, so no user will be able to contribute to it further. So this is the null page that we have created: a private explorer, a create invoice page, a profile page where the merchant can manage all their invoices. They can track all their records, etc., etc. We have also given privacy, like what are the things that we are storing into the database, because we want, if you are making a explorer, there is obviously a centralized database that is involved, but in order to basically maintain the privacy of the user, we are encrypting their merchant address as well. In the upcoming wave, we are thinking of basically right now in this architecture the merchant address is getting revealed, but in the upcoming waves we are thinking of basically having a more better approach, so that the basically the address of the merchant is also private. So this is the end-to-end encryption that we are doing off chain. So here is also the thing that we are using the pure maths, we are not using any guess. So in case a merchant creates an invoice for basically 10 credits and he sends the manipulated link for asking for 100 credits, then this transaction will never go away and the user is completely safe from all these kinds of frauds. And here you can see the docs page as well, in which there is all the technical documentation of this: what is null pay, what are the key features, how it works. This is basically the all the flow. And the smart contract, I have given all the code here if you want to see, and you can just go to the Aleo Explorer as well. The front end logic, all the hooks that are used to create the invoice, basically search for the on-chain, basically making the transaction. Here are the backend API that we are using in order to make the Explorer, and here is the architecture that we are using. So this is a submission. I hope you like NullPay. We have many plans for it in the future. In the future, we are thinking of making another option, like basically a donate page in which the user can create an invoice, and this invoice will not be associated with any amount. The the merchant can basically just share the invoice to any number of the people, and the people can just basically share any amount. So this is perfect for if you're basically having a fundraising, or you want someone to donate to your campaign or research paper as well. So we are thinking of expanding null pay in that domain also, and we are also basically thinking of making it end-to-end platform. So the we are thinking of making it as like a SaaS, so the merchant can generate the basically the payments here, and you can also manage all the things here. Then we'll be having the categorization as well, and we are also thinking of developing a SDK. So this SDK will be just like the Stripes or Razorpay SDKs, so the user will just integrate into their websites, and the transaction, all the payments will happen through us. uh, but the main advantage is that it will be fast, the cost will be very less, and also the most important things about Aleo, that everything will be verified using the Aleo zero knowledge proofs. And this is all our submission that we are thinking. Thank you for this. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.